before the apostles ran to the tomb, before Thomas touched Christ's wounds, before Peter preached in the streets of Jerusalem, there was a woman alone weeping in a garden. And to her, Jesus appeared first, not to a pope, not to a theologian, but to Mary Magdalene, the woman the world had dismissed. Who was Mary Magdalene? The Gospels speak of a woman from Magdala, out of whom Jesus cast 7 demons. That's how we meet her, not with status, not with power, but with pain. Whatever those demons were, whether physical, spiritual, or moral, we know this. She was broken, and Jesus healed her. That healing did something radical to her. Mary didn't just return to normal life after meeting Christ. She followed him everywhere, through towns, through ridicule, even to the foot of the cross, when most had fled. She was there when the nails were driven in. She was there when the sky turned black. She was there when he breathed his last. And she was still there when the stone was rolled over the tomb. While others returned home in fear, Mary Magdalene returned with oil and tears. She went not to proclaim victory, but to grieve. And it was in that grief, and that silence, in the raw honesty of her love, that the resurrection broke through. "Woman, why are you weeping?" a voice asked her. Thinking it was the gardener, she pleaded, "If you have taken him, tell me where you put him." And then came the moment everything changed, when he said her name, Mary. That's when she saw him. That's when the world turned upside down. Mary Magdalene became the first to see the risen Christ and the first to be sent. Go and tell the others. That's why the church calls her Apostolorum Apostola, the apostle to the apostles. But for centuries, her identity was blurred, even distorted. She was confused with the sinful woman who anointed Jesus' feet, or with Mary of Bethany, the sister of Lazarus. She was painted as a prostitute, though scripture never says this. While it's true that Christ healed her from 7 demons, nowhere does the gospel tie her to sexual sin. And yet, the label stuck. Maybe it was easier to put her in a category, to reduce her complexity to a simple stereotype. But Mary's real story is more powerful than any misconception. It's the story of a woman who encountered Jesus so deeply that it changed her forever and gave her a mission. What makes her story unforgettable is not just that she saw the risen Lord, but that she loved him so much she couldn't stop searching. Her fidelity wasn't driven by theology or politics. It was driven by love. The kind of love that stays when things fall apart. The kind of love that searches through tears. The kind of love that recognizes his voice in the dark. She is a saint for the misunderstood, a patron for the rejected, a friend to those healing from shame, confusion, or trauma. Mary Magdalene shows us that no past defines us. That healing is possible. That women have a central prophetic role in the church. And that the first step to resurrection is often tears. She also reminds us that the church, at her core, is not built on power structures or perfect resumes, but on those who seek Christ with all their heart. What do we do with her witness today? We listen, we slow down. We stop seeing holiness as something cold and abstract, and start realizing it begins an encounter, the kind Mary had in that garden. We also begin to reclaim our story, not as a footnote, but as central to the gospel. Because the same Jesus who called her by name calls each of us. He is not repelled by our wounds. He is not confused by our brokenness. He sees past the labels, and he speaks directly to the heart. Mary Magdalene's life doesn't end at the tomb. According to early Christian tradition, she went on to proclaim the good news for years, in a world that was often not ready to listen to a woman speak of such things. But she spoke anyway, because love doesn't stay silent, and neither should we. Saint Mary Magdalene, pray for us, that we might love with the courage you did, and never stop seeking the face of Christ.